I forced Klein into friendship.
Welcome to South Jersey Girls. I'm Klein Aliardi.
I'm Jane Feld.
I'm Elise Notariani.
And I'm Marianne Aliardi.
Later, we have an interview with Cherry Hill Mayor Susan Shin Angulo, which I'm very excited about, but I'm also extremely excited about the fact that I was able to go outside today without a jacket, despite the fact that Elise is currently wearing a turtleneck.
Okay, well,
Shocking.
First of all, it is a sleeveless turtleneck. It's a transition sweater. And second, I'm at my parents' house in Scranton, so it's like 10 degrees colder. It's very unfortunate.
You should come back because it's sunny and beautiful.
So good. And by the time you get back, it'll probably be snowing next week.
Yeah.
Stop.
Well, I'm going to pretend that's not happening because I was thinking finally we can get out and actually do stuff again.
I can't wait to get back to my family's historic trails of South Jersey.
That is the most Jane thing I've ever heard in my life. It's exactly how I picture your family spending their time.
That is true. And you're inventing that on your own, right?
Well, there's always Google, but once I started Googling, I realized that the state has historic walking trails that you can do of all these great little towns in South Jersey. We've done Bordentown. And I feel like shame on my education that I didn't know that Thomas Paine's house is there. And there's all these places where women did really cool stuff to help the revolutionary cause that we never learn about.
Jane, are you going to become a South Jersey tour guide, like your own individual unique tours?
Well, that is always a second career. And I'd be the best tour guide because I'm so enthusiastic, and I will put it on TikTok.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You lost me on that.
I really want to be a tour guide so that I can say the same dad jokes over and over again. Like, I love that.
You mean you'll channel the old man inside of you?
Exactly.
Jane, what do your kids say when you say this weekend we are going on our historic South Jersey tour? 2
of 3 are very, very enthusiastic. And the third one is once I get them out of bed, because we all love history. Of course, I have to get back to Burlington. I never did the Blackbeard tour and saw where he...
Wait, there is a Blackbeard tour?
Well, maybe I'm making that up, but I know that on Wood Street, there is possibly buried Blackbeard treasure, but it might be haunted.
That's really neat. I got to take my nephew there. I just took him for the first time. I've never been to the aquarium, so I took... he's been a million times, so I went there for the first time with him though, and it was the most fun thing.
Oh, I love taking my kids there when they're little and they just race to everything. And
he was running around. He's a big hippo guy. He loves animals. So right now he's a big hippo guy, and he kept yelling hippos and then running toward them, and he just spent like 20 minutes running back and forth as they would swim by him. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
That is cute.
And then he went over the shark bridge with his eyes shut like this.
Oh, he was afraid.
Was he afraid? I guess so. I think so. But then we went through it again and he did the same thing. I think maybe he just thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
He was also dressed like a 2-year-old frat boy. He had a Patagonia vest and a backwards Timberland hat. And I was like, who dressed this child? He looked cute. He looked really cute though. But it was so much fun. I'd never been down to the Camden waterfront, and we walked around and we got pictures. And
so nice. I swam with the sharks at the aquarium.
Oh, right.
You can do.
Wait, what's that like?
It's not scary after like 10 seconds. Before they take you on, they sit you down and you do like this instruction. One of the things they tell you is don't move a lot. It's really snorkeling with the sharks, right? You're snorkeling. You don't swim around. You stay stationary. And they said don't move a lot because that will frighten the sharks. You don't want to do that. I was like, okay. So the water is so cold. I started shivering, and then I got terrified because I thought, I'm moving. My whole body is shaking. I'm so cold. So I had to do these like mental games to be like, you're not cold, calm, breathe deeply. But what you see is just incredible. To see the sharks and everything that's under there. It's so cool.
I think Collingswood and Haddonfield are maybe the cutest places I've ever seen in my whole life. I think that they are adorable.
There's a lot
and their farmers market. That'll be on the list.
I think twice a year in Collingswood, they have the Clover Market. Did you ever hear of that? Klein got the coolest green leather jacket.
That is true. I forgot about that.
Green leather jacket?
When? Do you have it still?
I'm obsessed with it. It's I saw something the other day that was like, there are 3 kinds of coats. There's your winter coat, your summer jacket, and then there's the coat that you can wear one day out of the year and you really shouldn't have bought, but you did anyway. And I have about 20 of those coats that I can wear like 2 days out of the year, and the green leather jacket is one of them.
I would wear that all the time.
I wear it when it's too cold, but it's fine. I wish I could remember who I bought it from, but it's awesome. She had really cool curated vintage stuff.
I want to see that on your Instagram, that coat.
I know, me too.
Yeah, no, I gotta break it out again.
It's very
So anyone
70s.
who doesn't,
It's on my Instagram. I just realized that.
is it? I'm gonna take a look. For anyone who doesn't know, I forced Klein into friendship. So now now that things are opening up, oh yeah, I just decided that Klein and I were going to be like best friends, and she has just gone along with it. But now when things are opening up, we're gonna start going out places now where I couldn't before when I had moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're gonna show her around.
We're all gonna appreciate like everything that opens up and
Oh yeah.
all this.
And how many people, like when Collingswood has the farmers market, how many people are going to be at the farmers market? Are you going to be able, I mean, it was a crowded before. Are you going to be able to move? Because everyone's just like, I don't care. I'm going to the farmers market.
That's what I like though, because if you go to the Collingswood farmers market and it's too crowded, you can probably just go to the next town over and they'll have their farmers market.
True.
I love that everything in South Jersey is like the next town over.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so cute. Like growing up in Scranton, everything was like 20 minutes down the highway through a cornfield. Actually, we don't have cornfields, we have horse fields. So,
Other main streets that are cool too are Medford has a really cool main street. Mullica Hills is small, but it's still, they have cool shops. And it's so neat to go in and see shops that aren't like your typical shops. Not to mention if you're trying to shop local, those are the places to go. Morristown also.
Morristown is super cute. That was another one of the first ones I had driven through. And I was like, I just want to walk my dog through the streets here. Like, it just seems so like cozy.
Yeah, Elise, I'm good with showing you everything. I don't know if I can dive into your cemetery obsession though. That might be where I draw the line.
Jane and I really bonded over our cemetery obsessions. I'm like weirdly into it.
Cemeteries are cool.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Walt Whitman's. Elise, have you been there?
No.
I have not.
No, get out of here. You have to go see it. It's at Harley Cemetery, which is on Route 130. I don't know if it's Camden. It's near Our Lady of Lourdes.
Did you work at that? Do they only have one location? I
didn't work at the cemetery.
No.
I worked at the hospital, which is right down the road from the cemetery, and I never knew what was there.
I just had this realization that I think of you as like, when kids think about their teachers and like they don't have a life, they're just like teachers all the time.
Yes. No.
I just assumed that you worked at a magazine since the day that you were born.
You assumed that I never worked for anyone else. No, I worked for other people.
Yeah.
Had bosses and everything.
Sorry, I sidetracked. Tell me more about cemeteries.
Yes. Okay, so the Harley Cemetery, which is like New Jersey's Veterans Cemetery, it has a special designation. But when you go there, it has a visitor center. And when you go in, you can get a map of the different graves that are significant. But the most incredible one is Walt Whitman. And actually, before you go there, you can go to Walt Whitman's house, which is in Camden. So
not right now, though.
I was just going to say, you have to check about with the pandemic, how it's affecting it. But you can tour the house. He slept in a waterbed. On a waterbed, you can see that, which I found that pretty shocking. Walt Whitman, I don't know. When was Walt Whitman? It was a long time ago. And then his grave is in Camden, and it's a tomb that is, you kind of never saw anything like it. It's like it's built into the side of a giant rock, and it has vines growing all over, and it has like bars, almost like it's a jail cell. And Jim Morrison of the Doors was there, I believe, in the 70s, and he signed a tree nearby, and that's still there too. It's wild. There's other people whose names you wouldn't know, but who did significant things.
There's other cemeteries, Lawnside, where there's a lot of Civil War veterans, and we like to go to Colestown, which is Old Cherry Hill. It has cool graves, but I don't know who the fancy people are who are.
So what do you do when you go there?
Look at different graves, like to see the really old ones. And
wow,
it's peaceful. We recently went to a cemetery where Craig's uncle, who he never met because he died at Iwo Jima, and it really like messed up the whole family. It was so horrible. And we had never been to the grave, because he grew up in New York and this grave was in the Philadelphia area. So we went there and paid our respects to him.
Recently?
A couple weeks ago.
Wow. That was really the first time you were there?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you send a picture of it to anybody? Like, did you let your family know, hey, we're here?
There's not much family left, but I did put it on Instagram.
I know. And we've gone to Harley. We actually had a photo shoot at Harley. We did a story about inspirational people. This is kind of weird, but it worked. We did a story about inspirational people, and we took them to the cemetery and posed them in front of graves of inspirational people who had died. And we kind of told the dead person's story, inspirational story. And then we told the person we were featuring, we told their story. But it was kind of cool to,
We should do that again.
You have a weird like coincidence of ending up in situations surrounding death.
Yeah, we keep coming back to that.
Seem to think that certain things aren't creepy when they're super creepy.
Yeah, I don't though. You know what? I don't find cemeteries creepy at all. When I was growing up, my two like closest friends lived across the street from a cemetery. We would play in the cemetery when we were teenagers. We would have parties in the cemetery where people would drink. Like cemeteries were like our playground, and it didn't even faze us that these were dead people.
Interesting.
That's because it was before Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Vampires would come out of the graves.
In a way, it made me very comfortable with a cemetery because I don't find it scary or alarming.
Yeah, I find it
party
peaceful.
time.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, does anybody have any beer and wine? You know, at least I was here with my friends. Yeah.
I'm here today with Cherry Hill Mayor Susan Shin Angulo. I'm very excited to talk to you today. You were the first Asian American freeholder in Camden County. You're also the first Korean American mayor in Cherry Hill and New Jersey. And those are a lot of firsts to check off. What has your experience been with that? And I guess in a more general sense, with diversity and representation in New Jersey politics?
Yeah, absolutely. Being the first Korean American woman elected in New Jersey and being the first Asian American freeholder in the state, and now serving as the first Asian American mayor of Cherry Hill are just incredible honors. And I am grateful to the residents who have placed their trust in me by voting for me. And this is a significant responsibility that must not be taken lightly. It is a privilege to work for residents of Cherry Hill. And one of the initiatives I am personally committed to is increasing the number of women and individuals from underserved communities in elected office. That's really important to me. Our democracy works best when all citizens are represented. And I believe Sam Brownback once said that a democracy thrives on diversity. Tyranny oppresses it.
Wow, I've never heard that quote before, and I don't know why. I'm gonna get that framed or something.
But it's a good, powerful one.
It's not exactly what you set out to do, right? Because you were a science area major in college, right? How do you go from that to politics?
Absolutely. And you would think, wow, that's just in such a different spectrum. It's like left hand and the right hand. How do you merge that together? But, science and politics have a lot in common. Their mutual goal is to enhance human life. And science looks at the chemical and biological process, and politics looks at the engagement and legislative process. But both must be implemented with equity, dignity, and compassion. So I never truly stepped away from science, and I am proud that I'm still a science geek.
Love that. You began your first term a little over a year ago, and then COVID hit. What was that like?
There were so many people thrown into isolation and felt so disconnected. I just saw how incredibly important that sense of community, the sense of support and connection was vital to our lives. So, one of the great things about our residents, they looked out for each other. And I want to do everything that I can to keep this momentum and these bonds strong moving forward. And as we build new ones, as we get starting back to more of a normal way of operating.
Absolutely. That whole idea of really looking out for your community, I feel like that's what everyone really wants in a mayor. Is that kind of what made you want to run for mayor and made you want to take on this service?
Absolutely. When my husband and I moved to Cherry Hill back in 1999, I really loved the township's convenience, amenities, However, it wasn't until I had my first child back in 2004 that I decided I wanted to be involved in the town. So my political journey started with volunteering on the zoning board and human relations committee, then serving on township council, followed by county commissioner, and now mayor. So, though the issues and responsibilities have varied, but my underlying personal reasons to serve public office have remained the same.
So you are the mayor of Cherry Hill, of course. What is something that you want people to know when they are coming to visit your town?
I want everyone to know that that everyone that comes to Cherry Hill, they are welcomed here in Cherry Hill, and that we have a long, rich history of supporting inclusive communities, and we're building upon that each and every day. I love to brag that you can find the world in Cherry Hill only in 25 square miles. And the best way to really get to know the township is to jump right into it and get involved. There's some things that are, there are just so many things to do here in Cherry Hill. Walk the trails, you could go shopping. There's just so many things to do. So, I just want you to love Cherry Hill as much as I do.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It was great to have you.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
Thanks to the mayor for that great interview. Oh, I just remembered the woman's name. It's Brady Sanders, who I got that coat from. So if anyone knows where she is or what she's doing or how I can go get another coat, let me know.
Or maybe this summer they'll have another Clover Market and we can go find her.
Even better. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have new episodes every Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.